Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. There is an interesting din in Choshen Mishpat, Siman Shin Yud Seif Gimel, and I'm sure that it plays a role in many situations that are relative today too. This is the halacha. Reuven hiskir behemte lishnei yamim. Obviously, we're talking about the situations how life was hundreds of years ago. So there weren't cars, there weren't equipment. It was I rent a behema. I need a behema to get me somewhere or to do some work. So I go to my friend who is the maskir, and I rent from him a behema. Okay, how long do you need it for? We make up, I need it for 2 days. Why do I need a behema for 2 days? Leilech v'lachzor. Hey, my friend Chaim, I gotta travel from here to the next city, and to go and come back, well, usually takes 2 days. What happened as I was coming back the second day, as planned, Gadol Hanor, there was a fleitzung, there was the water, there was a flood. The water of the river, of the lakes, went onto the dry land, and the traveling stopped. There was a blockage. I had to come because of the slow traffic. I was late a day. So my rental was for 2 days, but because of unforeseen issues, I'm a day late. So the question is, could I tell my friend Chaim, the rental was for me to get there and back, and as planned, it would have been fine. But some unforeseen issue delayed. Do I have to pay you extra? So this is what the halacha is. In sachra liyamim, if you're being charged per day, a daily charge, pshita shetzarich litn leischiris kol yom v'yom. It's obvious. You pay for Sunday, you pay for Monday, and if you're late and you come Tuesday, you got to pay for Tuesday. However, im sachra l'mekayim polaini v'lachzor, if, however, our discussion was, I'm renting this animal because I got to get from point A to point B and come back. And the assumption is, we both understand that it usually is a 2-day trip. Or even better, shesachar l'shnei yom. I said, let me rent this for 2 days because, and I mentioned, it wasn't no assumption. I mentioned I'm renting it for 2 days because I told my friend I'm renting it because I got to go to the nearby city. And my friend, the masker, knows that it's a 2-day trip. And the nar came and extended the trip a little longer. Is if it's something that doesn't usually happen. So say that the Baal Behema, the one who rents the Baal Behema, the owner of the Behema, he loses. He doesn't get the 3rd-day payment. If, however, it is something that usually happens, only I, the one who is renting the animal, knows that sometimes there is this flood. Say to the Seicher, that's my loss. V'im shneim yadu, and if both of us know that this happens from time to time, say to the balabayis. Now this is the halacha. The smeh summarizes like this: Kol sheshneim hava leila meida ulahasnois. If it's a situation that we both should have been clear and from the beginning, how, in what case? If it's a common thing, it floods, I knew and he knew, and yet we didn't discuss it. So then, if kol sheshneim hava leila meidbar ulahasnois, going, for example, if ragel is gadol, if this happens often, or sheshneim hava leila meidar, or nobody ever thought about it, going she'ena royal is gadol. That in any one of those 2 cases, it's the loss of the maskir. Why is it the loss of the maskir? For one basic nekuda. There's a rule that says, Hamaitzi mechaverei olav haraya. if I want more money from you, which on the paper I don't deserve, there is strong reason for me to expect it or demand it or whatever, but I have to bring proof to be able to draw out more money from you. And there's not enough proof that this is strong enough that you owe me the extra money. So this is the halacha as it is in the olden times. Today's days, there is in the Shilos Teshuvos Svarim, they discuss, I saw it written, somebody rented a tape recorder. That must have been 40, 50 years ago. Today's days equipment, many equipment, and perhaps even a car. You rent per day, or you rent for a job, and somehow, and in the halacha, as I saw it described, was somebody rented a tape recorder for a month, and the month is over, and he forgot about it. He just didn't bring it back right away. He brought it back a week late. And the question was asked by this Rav, does he have to pay for the extra week? Why not? Because I figured, I wasn't rushing, I figured that the owner, the storekeeper, has many, many more tape recorders or equipment to rent. I didn't make him lose any money. And especially since I wasn't doing anything with it. And perhaps this is one of the differences he makes. By the behema, as every day I have it, I'm actually using it. There's wear and tear. How about if I didn't return something on time and there was no loss from the owner, and yet there's no wear and tear because it's just laying around? Is there a right for him to come and say, you're a day or two late, I charge you extra? So there are 2 points I have to tell you. Number one, the Sman, the Ktsois, both right, that even if, when you have enough right to demand the extra money, because there was no wear and tear, you could only ask like a Seicher Bottle. You could only take not the normal price that you charge per day, because it's part of your understanding when you charge for a rental that the wear and tear of the equipment is getting lower, more and more used, or it's hurting the equipment. And that's why you charge a hefty amount. But if it's just laying around in the closet, you really wouldn't charge so much. So the Sman and the Ktsois says, in those situations, you perhaps could charge the extra money for the extra day, but you shouldn't charge as much as a regular rental because it wasn't used. So the same thing, it will depend. It will depend in two basic factors. Did the masker lose money because he could have rented this out? Then it's obvious loss. And even if he didn't lose money, and he has enough right to be moitzi mechaveri money, because today's days it is clear that you're not renting for the jobs. You're renting per day, and when you rent per day, you definitely don't have no heter. Every day is a charge. But mitzad v'asisa v'yasha v'atoiv, they say if you overextended your rental period, the extra time you should not charge full price.